This is the Carlton Podcast. Here's your host, Tony Moclair.
Hello and welcome to the Carlton Podcast. I'm Tony Moclair. Joining me as every week is the great Mitch Robinson, coming off 20 really. Posies with an 80% effectiveness.
Mate, it's the first time for everything, but it actually not every week. I've been here for 3 weeks.
Well, so. I was about to kind of put that little asterisk in and say injury permitting.
I did have injury, yes, and I had a son too. So,
yeah, well, okay, let's not bang on about it, okay?
Let's talk about 80% efficiency rate.
Yeah, let's do that. The voice you hear in the background is the voice of this week's guest. Don't give it away. Don't give it away. This week's guest, Robbo, is originally from North Albury. He played with the Murray Bushrangers under-18s. He represented New South Wales in the 2005 National Championships. The same year he was a rookie drafted by the Sydney Swans. He was accepted an offer to join Norwood in the Sandful. He was drafted by the Blues from the Redlegs. He's played 15 games for the Blues, including 5 this year, and including in the magnificent win against West Coast. He is Mr. Sammy Rowe.
Sammy Rowe.
Thanks, Tony. Great to be here.
How are you, Sam? You returned to the podcast. It's lovely to have you back.
Debut.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here. Thanks, Mitch. Thanks for the invite.
Can you explain the shiner?
Oh, that was on the weekend's game. Big Cox got me, so...
Let's get him out of the way early. Have you got any of those, Robbo?
Not that good,
All right, there we go.
Gags,
is that appropriate?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's a family show, but that's all right.
Edit out anyway.
Robbo, I'm going to go to you first. As I said, 20 touches,
is Brad
80% effective.
I was
listening to the game in Maryborough up there for my niece's baptism.
Sorry, where?
We're at Maryborough, not in the Queensland one, Victoria.
Okay. Yep.
When you scored that goal in the first quarter, I turned to my brother and said, this is a good sign. When Robbo was kicking them, Carlton are on.
It's a good sign for the mind, too. If you get a goal in the first quarter, mate, you just... All the pressure, I'm not going to get dropped next week.
Yeah.
Like, everything's out the window. You're just thinking about, yes, now I can play my game.
Okay.
No, it was a good game. I've been, hound upon to lower the eyes and take a bit more time with the ball. And it's funny because when you watch your footage like a day after a game or something, you notice how much more time you've got. And I think that's just getting adjusted to AFL. But 90-odd goals and 90-odd games on the track, I'm starting to feel it now.
How did that feel as compared to the victory against the Bulldogs? There was all that lead up
I didn't
to
play
the
Bulldogs.
Well, no, I mean for it being in the club. I mean the atmosphere around the place. There was all that. I'll throw the same question to you too, Sammy. But there was all that lead up, and then we beat Bulldogs by 28 points. But this game featured an incredible comeback.
I think
where did it come from? Firstly,
I think it'd be a bit of a kick in the guts to lose on the weekend, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yes. You get it now?
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. So a bit of trash talking from West Coast. It didn't
right
quite
back at
pay
you,
off.
mate. Right back at you. No, obviously, I think the Bulldogs game was probably a bigger one because we've been copping a fair bit in the media, and they've been at the front of the club, and everyone's writing. Even like external people that I haven't even seen before were kind of running down the club, and some people involved. And I think on the weekend was another good one because they were sitting fourth, and they were tipped to be a top 4 team, and. As you said, we came out and it was good to put two wins together. Now we just got to go forward and beat Collingwood.
Sam, as I said, you played 15 games for the club. How does this one rate? The comeback, the lead up to it, your participation in what is a fantastic and really memorable victory for supporters?
Yeah, well, it's definitely been the best game that I've played in here. So, and even Mick said it was one of the best games that he's been involved in his.
400 or so victories, yeah.
100 years of football.
Yeah. He's been coaching. So it was a really exciting game, and it was just great to finally get over the line.
And Big Rowie, what are you, a backman now, eh?
Dower defender.
Is that how it works? Defender. Have you thought about marking the ball down there? I don't know. Have we talked about that in the club? I don't know if anyone's seen it. But.
How were you in that last quarter? There was some frantic, that was edge of the seat stuff. How were your nerves at the end of it?
14 spoils, by the way.
Yeah, I wasn't too bad. I think as a backline, I think we've been pretty composed in the last couple of weeks, especially. I think we've been reasonably settled in the last couple of weeks. So I think when the pressure was on, we held together pretty well, and we got the job done.
What was the turning point in the last quarter? Zach Tui's goal, set shot from the 50-metre penalty, that kind of started it all. But how did it accelerate after that?
Dill Buckley's goal.
Yeah, which was extraordinary.
You'd be up here trying to find every media spot to tell someone about it. But
I think we just started to go at the game a bit more. I think early on in the last quarter, we sort of were chipping a little bit too much, and I think we went at the game a bit more and put a bit of pressure back on West Coast, and then we managed to get a few and then the pressure was right back on them.
I want to talk about some of the players this week. Zach Tui copped a bake from Mick. What was that about?
Oh, I saw the replay of that. I didn't notice it in the game, but that's usually meant to be me, so I was kind of confused. I don't think I was on the bench, so he couldn't really have a go at me, but yeah, it's a bit confusing.
So I'm not sure the exacts of what it was about, but he responded pretty well from it.
I think it was he had time and space, and he kicked along the ground maybe, and it didn't look too good, but... Yeah, Tui was saying he was following him up and down the boundary line, trying to get away from him, and he was following him on his warm down, and he was following him around with those big eyes of his. So,
well, it worked. How's Troy Menzel and Bucks been? How have they been this week after their pivotal role?
Oh, strutting would be one word that would...
Suitcases, everything.
Especially Dill Buckley. I've never seen a bigger celebration than after his goal.
He
was
actually...
Massive. Pushing
blokes away to get more centre attention.
Get out of my space here. This is my camera time. I want to get every little bit of this camera time that I can because I've just kicked the best goal in history.
And he's comparing everything to his old man Jimmy at the moment. I don't think he's kicked an equaliser. It's actually an equaliser goal. He calls it a winning goal, but it actually equaliser scores. And I don't think he's had a rising star. So he's done two in this year.
Well, yeah, he's doing all right. The signs are very good there.
Yeah.
The celebrations in the room afterwards. What was the feeling in there, like Mitch?
Oh, we got drunk as.
Yeah.
No, Gatorade.
Drunk on Gatorade.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good. As I said, like the last 2 weeks have been a good feeling for us, and I think when you do put away a team like Western Bulldogs are a good team, and so are West Coast. So it's kind of the confidence is getting back to the boys, and you can see it as well. Like on when you watch the replay of the game, everyone's taking the game on, and we're hitting our kicks, and it helps a lot because in the first quarter we were about 4-0 to start, and I think we just got to clamp a few things when we let them back in the game there, like here and there, and they got in front by about 22 points, I think, in the last quarter. So,
Sam, just before we move off West Coast, Mark Murphy's leadership was phenomenal during the game. His skills were incredible, and then the kick into Menzel that he converted beautifully after that run down the boundary. Yeah. How important is that we'll say to you as a young player and to older players like you, Robbo, to see that kind of leading from the front?
He's older than me.
Well,
okay.
27.
Let's not quibble.
It is obviously Murph's copped a fair bit from the media in sort of the start of this year about his perceived leadership, but we all know he's a great leader, and he's actually showed that in the last couple of weeks, and now the media are finally believing him that he's actually a very good leader. So he was fantastic.
Now, you've copped one in the eyes, we said at the top of the podcast. How are you shaping up for the game against Collingwood this Friday?
Yeah, no, very good. The body's pretty good, so I'll be looking to give it.
Shut down our power forward. That's what he plans on doing.
Who do you expect to line up on?
I'll probably either get one of Witts if he plays, or Jesse White, or probably maybe rotate a little bit through Cloak, but Jam will probably take Cloak mostly.
Yep. So, speaking of Jamo, was Jamo on Kennedy last week?
I think Whitey was on Kennedy. Whitey was on Darling. I think Jamo
did Kennedy most of the time.
He did a great job because Kennedy's really killed us before in games against West Coast.
He's changed up his stutter step, hasn't he, as well? It's kind of I noticed it when I was on the ground.
Yeah,
didn't he?
He doesn't do it anymore.
So. I like to think he still loves Carlton, judging by that toe poke in the last quarter there to hit the post.
Yeah, thank you, missed that.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Just before we move on to Collingwood game, how does it feel to be in a game? Mick Malthouse celebrates 400 wins as coach. He was his body language and everything in the presser afterwards was a joy to behold. But for somebody who's coached 400 victories, to say that was one of the better wins he'd been associated with. How did the playing group take that, Robbo?
I just found that news out just then. But that's an amazing stat.
Yeah.
400 games, geez. He spoke about the first 4 rounds would have been pretty hard for him, and for us to get a win up for him like that, coming from behind, 22 points down 10 minutes ago, we kicked 5 goals, I think, 5 snags. So it was a great win for all of us, and taking out of the game is a lot of confidence and belief. If we do get down that situation again, we know in our heads that we can come back. Yep. But it's also on the flip side, we don't want to be getting that far behind, especially in the last quarter when we had a lot of opportunities to put the game away early as well. So
yeah, we don't want to get too far behind.
We
don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves.
Exactly. But it was a great win. We can't take much away from West Coast. They were a good team as well on the night, and we're all focused on Collingwood this week. We were from pretty much Sunday night. We started focusing on the game. So
this is obviously a very important game to win. How are preparations going? Collingwood are not where they are by accident. 4th for kicks, 10th for disposals. What's going to be the strategy, Robbo?
Yeah, well, we've had a pretty good week this week. We shuffled around a little bit just to make sure we had a bit of more recovery than usual because 6-day turnaround. So we had our skill session today, and we'll have a bit of touch tomorrow before the game. Just a bit of a feel-good session.
Sammy, in defence, the trash talking or the mental games have already begun, and Goldsack apparently is the secret weapon to kind of unpick Carlton's defences. What do you think of that? Yeah.
If they want to, get it at the Goldsack every time and Cloak and all the rest of the guys can go and sit on the bench, that'll be fine.
We kind of know what as he said before, like we know what their, what can I say, the stats and their disposals and stuff are right up there. So I think we want to kind of limit their ball users. They have like Swan, Pendlebury and Dane Beams that are absolutely dominating at the moment. So just to rotate through them and, trying to limit their what's it called? Efficiency.
Yeah. Well, it says Mr. 80% over here, so you know a thing or two about that.
Mate, that's amazing.
We should, of course, point out it is the Richard Pratt Cup. Mm-hmm. The Carlton and Collingwood football clubs go head-to-head for the annual Richard Pratt Cup. It honours the great former Carlton president who passed away from prostate cancer in 2009, and the Cup aims to raise awareness for prostate cancer, as it is the commonest cancer in Australian men. Money raised from this goes to the Richard Pratt Cup, and it goes to the Richard Pratt Fellowships in Prostate Cancer, a research fellowship aimed at providing more effective treatment for sufferers. And if you'd like to donate, just go to the Carlton website and follow the links. What's it going to mean, Sammy, when when the team lines up on Friday? There will be a capacity crowd. There's no doubt about that. What will that mean to the club to see a packed MCG on the Friday night?
Yeah, well, it's going to be obviously it's going to be the big stage this week. There's going to be a packed house, and the clubs. We're just going to try and focus on getting our stuff right. I think you're trying to get too caught up in the external stuff or what the ramifications are of the game. So we'll be trying to make sure that we get our stuff right, and hopefully we come away with the win.
Robbo, how are you mentally preparing for this game?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a 90,000+ crowd there, so we're just going to try and take out the positives from the last couple of weeks into this game. We know we had our opposition meeting today, so we kind of know what to do and what not to do and how we're going to set up versus them. So we're just going to attack the ball. We're going to win contested possessions and clearances like we always have to. But it's going to be a great game, and hopefully we get it done for old Dickie Pratt because he's definitely done a lot for this club, and we kind of owe him. So,
what will be the team rule then with Dylan Buckley and his celebrations? Is it you'll give him 3 seconds of respectful distance, or will there be a bouncer who erects a red rope around him so he can just do his thing? How will the team handle? Because the kid, you just know, he's got an ego that could spin dangerously out of control.
We actually thought there was still an Auskick kid out there from half time, and we was like, how did he get back on the field and snap a goal from 45? So it was kind of confusing at the time, but we knew it was Buckley when he started celebrating. But let him do him. If we're playing well and we're winning, or we're getting close to a win, he can celebrate as much as he likes. But I guess if we're losing, just keep it to the old run back to the square.
I think I pretty much ask you this question before every Collingwood game. Does it mean anything extra to Mick, or it's business as usual? He obviously comes to coaching Collingwood with a very deep knowledge of the playing group and their tactics. But outwardly, does he exhibit anything different during a game before Collingwood?
Well, to all of us it means something because we obviously have our arch rivals as usually Richmond, Essendon and Collingwood. So this game's we all look forward to it during the year. We play them twice in a year, and these games are going to be the massive ones we need to win. And I think I don't know what you can say, but to get a win would probably be one of the biggest ones of the season so far.
How was Daisy's smother last week, Sam Rowe?
Yeah,
that was
game saving.
Yes.
That was super.
It was nearly better than my intercept in the middle of the ground too.
Well, nearly, but let's not go overboard here. Let's not go.
Because I'm not Dale Thomas.
Yeah. Hey, look, we've been waiting for the Messiah. It was almost like that. Could I tell you, for a Carlton supporter, it was a bit like Earl Spalding's smother in the 95 grand final. It was it was the spark.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you rate that as a defensive gesture, Semi, right?
Yeah, it is. Seeing your teammates do big smothers or big tackles and stuff, that's the stuff that really excites you as a team. Like, obviously, you get excited when someone kicks a goal, but that's the kind of stuff the small stuff that usually gets not much credit.
Yeah.
But that's the stuff that we really value a lot, and really gets the boys up.
The last two games, the Bulldogs game and the West Coast game, has been notable for Carlton running, chasing, pressuring, tackling, and that sort of stuff, which to a football moron like me seems to win games. What has been the difference there, Robbo? Why does the penny seem to have dropped that kind of pressure is what yields results?
Usually what wins games if you kick more goals in the opposition, that usually helps.
See, you're going to coach one day with that kind of... See, I said
I was a football moron. Play your game, kick more goals.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, there's a game plan that we have, and, as you can see, last 2 weeks, it's probably looks a lot better than we had in the first 4 weeks, but it hasn't changed at all. It's just been execution and sticking to your roles. There's 22 blokes out there, and they've got to play their role, and when people start going away from that, then you can see the drop-off in execution, and, if you start missing goals early, it kind of plays a part in your head, and you're like, we had a good opportunity to get some scoreboard pressure, and I think last 2 weeks we've been taking opportunities every time, and as you said, our efficiency was about 64 against Bulldogs and about 73 versus West Coast, so... It's definitely a jump up, and it does win games, and especially the tackling pressure. We have our DI counts, and usually it's if we get above 180.
DI is
what's it called?
Desire indicator.
It's
just a marker of
how hard you're working off the ball.
How hard you're working in.
Right.
So that's why Rowe wins every week, because he spoils instead of marking. That's actually a stat. It's actually true. He won on the weekend.
You get a point for spoils.
You get a point for spoils.
So I love spoils. They're a great part of the game.
Yeah. When you 50 metres out, I reckon just mark it. But that's just me speaking out loud. That's my coaching ability. But yeah, kick more goals.
Well, speaking of the Collingwood game, there is obviously a long-standing, I wouldn't say bitter, but it's an intense rivalry with Collingwood that if I am to be believed, started because, if you believe it or not, Sam, who didn't grow up in Melbourne, Carlton is up on top of a hill. Collingwood, if you go down Johnson Street, you go down a hill to Collingwood. And it started from people in Carlton releasing their sewerage down the hill.
So that's for real?
Yes.
There you go,
it
Sam.
would flow down the hill. I'm not making this up. In fact, I think it was Eddie Maguire who told me this.
Right.
So that's how deeply seated this kind of distaste for each other is.
That must be a bloody big hill.
They live in Carlton's.
Yeah, well, because we're up on the hill, and then, and Collingwood has been working class. It's bottom of the hill. Yeah. It's tenement housing before they put up the housing commission. So there's always that class element to it. But on top of everything else, it is the heritage round too. I want both of you to tell me about your feelings about playing in the old CFC monogram, the one that graced the Guernsey on so many Carlton premiership wins. If we look around the room we're in now, you'll see nothing but. You'll see sticks in 1987 on Peter Dean's shoulders there with same monogram, Bruce Dool over there. You see it all around the place. So at heritage round, Robbo, what does that mean to the playing group to be in that old-style navy blue Guernsey?
I just love the jumper. The CFC looks amazing. It obviously has a lot of history and heritage there, hence the heritage round, but it just looks really good. On the back, it shows the 16 cups that we've won, and it kind of spurs you on, feeling like you got a bit more on your shoulders, and it gets the boys across the line. So, I reckon it looks amazing, and I'm kind of glad to be playing this round because, it's trying to show that we still got that fighting spirit, and we are a successful team. We've been told that since we got here. When you walk in the front doors, those cups in your face. So it's kind of another thing to spur us on to give a big win this weekend.
Sammy?
What do you think, Sam?
Oh, thanks, Mitch.
I gave you a lot of room to talk about it.
You sold everything then, but the only thing I'll say is it just gives you a reminder of the club and the rich history that it does have. So being able to play, with a Guernsey that resembles the vast majority of the Carlton Footy Club through all its years, is a big honour. So I think all the boys will be, very grateful and appreciative that we get to play in that Guernsey.
Okay.
If you want a copy of this Guernsey, which features sponsors' logos, the one I can't pronounce.
Hyundai.
Thank you. And Mars on the back there. You can get them at the Carlton shop here at Visy Park, or just go to shop.carltonfc.com.au. As an old fart, I can tell you this brings back exciting and very fond memories. And that is well worth owning. That is a magnificent
And we'll also wear that
clothing.
game in round 23 versus Essendon.
Well.
So you get to wear it 3 times for the year, guys, if you buy it before Friday night.
Yes. Now, I just want both of you just to close your eyes and fast forward 10 years' time when your glorious careers have ended and you have to show for it a premiership medallion. But in your retirement, you will still be called upon to represent the club, just as Adam White, Alex Marcoux, Satantro Halpin, Ian Aiken have. when they line up for the Blues at this week's Legends game. At Princess Park. It's at Princess Park on Sunday, 2 o'clock.
I might get down.
Be playing against... Well, they'll be playing against a Collingwood team full of legends. Lee Brown, Phil Carman, Peter Dacos. Well worth the price of entry just for that, because even in his post-football...
You still got it?
Yeah, it is a great shame that you never saw that man play in his prime, because he was absolutely phenomenal. He was the maestro, but can still turn it on, I'm sure. So it's $10 here at Visy Park on Sunday. Children under 15 are free. The other Carlton players who you will see... The enduring bromance that we all love seeing here at Carlton, Kuda and Ange Christou, they will be strutting their stuff. Speaking of
any kebabs down there on the sidelines or none?
Well, I certainly hope so.
I don't know. I think it's all nutrition now, isn't it?
So, yes, it is.
It's kind of...
Yes. So get down to see that after Carlton's victory, we hope, on Friday night. Now, Sam Rowe, you would know this is the new segment on the 2014...
I warned him about it.
2014 Carlton Podcast. This is Do You Know Your Teammates, Mitch Robinson, Sam Rowe. We've done about 6 of these, I think, Robbo. How are you tracking?
3 of them, and I've got 1 from 3, I think. So
1 from 3.
That's a pretty good ratio.
Okay, you just buzz in with the name when you have figured out which teammate of yours is the answer. Okay, clue number 1. I made my debut for the Blues during our round 1 clash against Freo in 2004. Robbo? Sam Rowe?
No.
No, next clue. I was recruited by my previous club as
Collingwood.
selection...
Wait,
Robbo. No, not until the end of the clue. I was recruited by my previous club as selection 44 in the 1998 National Draft.
I know, it's Heath Scotland. Is it really?
Yes.
Yeah, boy!
How did you get that?
Because I said Collingwood, and I was thinking Heath Scotland because I was thinking, who got here in 2004? And I have a photo of all those draft players. They came here, like about 11 of them or something.
Yeah.
And he was on there, so I'm guessing he's the only one here from 2004. And he's like 40 years old.
Yes.
Big Foss.
Okay.
Well done. Okay, well, other clues, Sam, just in case you're interested.
Yeah.
2007... Scotto finished 6 points behind the winner of the John Nichols medal, Andrew Carazzo. How's Carrot shaping up for selection?
I think he will be in line. I think he'll probably have a test tomorrow, but see how he goes.
Okay, Fingers crossed. It'd be great to have him. Clue number 4. In the same year, Scotland pulled 12 Brownlow votes, the most by a Carlton player ever since Anthony Koutfides in 2000.
What year was that?
2004. Oh, sorry, hang on. Yeah, 2007. 2007.
That's pretty good.
Kuda should have won that Brownlow in 2000.
With 12.
That's my editorial. Okay, during round 8 last year, Scotland played his 250th AFL game, and in 2012 he won the John Nichols medal with 362 votes. So
well, Scotto. It's your day,
Scotland,
mate.
a great servant of the Carlton Football Club, and a fitting note upon which to end a player who's played for both Collingwood and Carlton. Final thoughts, Robbo, before we go into Friday night's game? Just
make sure you're all glued to the TV because it's going to be the Rowie show, I reckon.
We hope.
Yeah, they're spoiling. He might take a couple of marks this week, but no, it's going to be a big game and hopefully get the win and take it to 3 in a row, then get that win-loss ratio back to even.
Sam?
Yeah, no, obviously just very excited for this week's game. It's going to be a massive one, obviously, so make sure you get down.
We didn't even plug S&S, his construction. You didn't ask him what he does on his day off.
Well, this is not a shameless plug. It's not a forum to
Robbo, that was
promote.
He goes, if you come up, you can plug your building stuff.
That was his agreement.
All right, that's the only condition that I'll come up, Robbo.
Next time, that's why we leave for next time we come up here.
We'll have to come back.
Well, it's a good thing that your company...
it's just S&S at the moment.
Wasn't mentioned.
Yes, I know. In a month or so, when I'm fully licensed and qualified and it's all off the ground,
give us a call. Give Carlton a call.
I'll be back in the podcast to pump it up.
Okay, always fun to have you here, Sam Rowe. Thank you for coming in.
Tony.
Good luck on Friday. I've been Tony Moclair. Go Blues.
Go Blues. Go Baggers.
Up the Baggers.
Go the Baggers.